Alright. So, how are we supposed to fight God? Or how are we supposed to fight man with plot MacGuffins with with our time train? That is a good question.
Bigger plot MacGuffin.
An even bigger MacGuffin.
Griffin's palace is back on the ground. This is our last chance to take him out.
I do. Oh yeah, that's right. We did. We went to every previous dungeon to go to the secret route, so we can get the plot, the secondary. The final. Oh, are we really in the final chapter there, ma'am, or are we? Or is that? I
can happily say that we're officially in the final chapter of the game that isn't the bonus chapter.
Like, are we truly in the final chapter? Because I don't think we're in the final chapter.
Promise you, we're in the final chapter.
Yeah.
Yeah, certainly the final chapter I cared enough to finish.
Yeah, chapter 8 is a bit of a ball ache.
Actually, I just realized, by the way, today, the game I was playing that made you go back to previous dungeon, Tokyo Mirage Sessions, in the final chapter, to unlock the seal to get into the final dungeon, you have to go back to almost every single dungeon, go fight a random, just go fight a group of enemies, then you get like a dreamstone, then after getting the dreamstone, you go and kill, you then go back to the dungeon, you have to then go through 3 trials, then you unlock the seal to go into the final dungeon of the game.
That sounds needlessly convoluted.
It really is, and not helping is that the final boss, of course, has to have the traditional, has one base form, and then of course it has a super form. It has the final form, maybe.
I thought Rayman was bad.
Yeah.
Oh god, Rayman, no.
Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous.
Do you mean Griffin?
Please, don't blame Cyrus.
So yeah, Griffin's true name is Cyrus, apparently.
Huh.
Who are you?
But he was a rabbit.
Ruler of the palace, Alexandra. Cyrus has not yet realized what his role in life is.
So, our guest, Needle King, would you like to explain the gimmick of this area?
In terms of how you build
How
the town?
How to do the diorama?
Yes. I was actually going to talk about that anyway, but thanks for the invitation.
Okay.
I like this one a lot more than I like the final diorama from the first game, which was just put things in slots and then watch the same cutscene twice. This one, you have to rebuild the garden of the Moonflower Palace. And they give you just enough pieces to do everything. And there are 8 pictures hanging in the lobby that show you what it used to look like, and you have to use those pictures to figure out where everything goes.
I beg of you.
Alright.
And the only clues that you get is the pictures and the name of the brews. That's it. Nothing else. You have to work it out on your own. It's actually quite interesting.
A clue in the first room.
Okay.
Anyway, let's keep going.
I mean, it's certainly more fun than just throwing things into a list. And you do get to see cutscenes when you complete certain ones. It's like when you've built everything that goes in the background of this particular scene of Cyrus's past, then you get to see that scene.
I got it.
Well, that's cool.
What?
And of course, the best thing about all of this is the boxes are easy to get.
So we're going. So are we Super Mario 64 in this and going through those paintings, or?
Nah.
Aww.
She said there was a clue in the first room, right?
As was mentioned, the paintings are the clue to how to rebuild the garden.
This looks like the
Okay.
palace garden, but there's no flower bed like that out there. The pictures in this hall must show how the palace.
I forget whether you actually have to go around and look at all the pictures, but it'll add them to your menu in the place where it would have had the clues for how to build stuff, I think.
I'm sure there's a way to
Yes, I think that is how this works.
I bet you're right.
Which I didn't know the first time, and so I very stupidly just took pictures of all.
Sounds good.
But
Let's
but to be fair, that was like way back when this game first came out, and I was younger then.
I mean, that's not a bad idea. There are a lot of games where it's got a method in the game for taking screenshots of something, but it's so much easier to just make it your own. Yeah, I just recently finished a game called Quern, Undying Light, I think it was, or Undying Memories or something like that, which is a lot like Myst, but they give you a notebook in the game, and you can sketch anything that you look at, and then, of course, you have to go to the far end of the island and use the sketch as a clue to do something.
Oh, like
And it's...
Good.
Well, it's kind of inconvenient because some of the things that you're sketching have colors in them, but your sketches are monochrome.
Oh. At that point, you just
Yeah,
write the word. You just write the word of the color within the space. Oh, this is blue. I'll write the word blue here.
Yeah, I mean, you can write notes with the pictures that you draw, but if you're gonna do that, why not just have a notebook with you and make your own drawing or something?
Yeah, it's dumb. Yeah, it's definitely not like Myst. Myst, you don't get anything. You have to figure it out.
I think some of the later versions of Myst allowed you to do stuff like that. Built-in screenshot tools.
Yeah, I think Real Myst does that. At least I want to think Real Myst does that, since that's like the definitive remastered edition of the vanilla game.
Yeah, I think even the DS version let you do that.
Oh, I didn't even know there was a DS version.
Yeah, that was the one where the Rhyme Age originally came in, and then they added that for Real Myst as well.
Oh, cool. Yeah,
I just never got anywhere in it back when I played it.
Yeah, Myst is one of those games where I've had that, like, I've had like this triple disc copy of the entire Myst trilogy, like, somewhere in my old house, and like it's been like the family copy of the game for years, and I just never, like, I've only ever seen my dad play it. I've never seen anyone else in the house play it, but I've been wanting to play through Myst again. It's been forever.
Yeah, let's see, I've got the DVD collection with the first 3. I've got 4 on DVD. I've recently found 5 at a half-price books. I've still got the original CDs for Riven and Myst, I think.
Nice.
And I also have the whole collection on Steam, and probably most, if not all of them, on GOG as well.
Alright.
And I don't know that I care to go back and replay them that many times.
Yeah, they're very much a one and done. Once you, like, because in Myst 1, you can beat the game in like 5 minutes because they give you the final puzzle at the beginning of the game.
Yep, I've seen the Myst speedrun.
Yeah, once you know that,
like 11 minutes, including cutscenes.
And once you know that password the first time, even in just a casual playthrough, once you have that password, you can just beat the game and just be over with it.
Wait, it's the same password all the time? They didn't RNG it?
Nope.
Nope. I don't know that they could.
Because that would mean they'd have to RNG the entire every other puzzle to get this to get the password out of them.
Ah, fair point.
No, not the first Myst. And the final puzzle you really had to solve was get the combination for the fireplace, and that was inside a specific book in the library on a specific page. The thing is, because they've got a video of each one of the brothers telling you what page it is, making it a different page would have required them to do different video, and changing the pattern on the page would have required different video, and I don't think they wanted to try to fit that on the CD.
Probably not.
Yeah, that does make sense.
I'm trying to remember
The
this.
only really time-consuming part is that in order to get the page, if you want to get the good ending, you do have to solve the clock puzzle, because you can't reach the marker switch otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
And the solution is the same as well. You don't have to actually solve the puzzle inside to open the age, you just have to make the bridge so you can get to the switch.
There's a lot. There's a lot of there's a lot of weird details, or like nice details that with Myst within this one. But yeah, the only puzzle I remember off the top of my head, besides obviously the final puzzle, the password, is the steam valves in this village. You have to redirect the flow of steam, or it was either steam or water. I think it was water.
Yeah, it was water.
Yeah, you had to turn a bunch of these valves. I think as I think a 5-year-old kid who just clicked on whatever game he could on the family PC, got to that puzzle and immediately stopped, or like clicked every valve like 15 times, and then quit, and then immediately quit the puzzle.
Yeah, I had the hint book long before I got to any actual puzzles.
Oh.
So, the later Myst games, I did actually give it a good effort to solve them without any kind of outside hints.
Mm-hmm.
I usually needed to look up one thing, though. Like, I'm extremely fond of talking about that one puzzle in Myst Revelation, where you have to have second perfect timing for a particular operation. And the game gives you no hints that you're doing it right or that you're close if you're like a millisecond off. It's just, nope, nothing happens.
Wow. That reminds me of in King's Quest V. There's that BS moment of if you don't save a rat from a cat, or from getting killed by a cat, then you basically get an immediate game over. Not even an immediate game over, it's just the fact of the mouse can't save you from a certain scenario, thus giving you an immediate dead game.
Yep.
And you had to like throw a boot at the cat, and plus the cat's fast too. You had to like be quick about throwing the boot at it, or else it would get the mouse and you'd just lose the game because you wouldn't be able to. You can't free yourself from the immediate next scenario.
Yeah, I'm convinced that at least in some version of the game, you had more than one chance, just nobody knew about it.
It wouldn't surprise me if there was more than one chance. That's just the one I know of is just knowing the cat is just like getting rid of the cat to save that mouse. Or rat, whatever it was.
But at the very least, it's obvious that you need to do something.
Mm-hmm.
And that scene only plays if you have what you need.
Yeah, that's true. You do, no matter what, you do need the boot to be able to throw at the cat to get rid of it.
Yeah, well, the cat doesn't show up if you don't have either the boot or the stick.
Mm-hmm. Which...
It's a lot worse in Space Quest 2, I would say, when the point of no return, where you need to have the gem before you proceed, is exactly when you discover that you need it. And
yeah.
You can't go back for it.
Space Quest 4 is also really bad about that, where at the very beginning of Space Quest 4, once you're in the world of Space Quest 12, if you go down the grate before you get the battery from the Duracell rabbit or the Energizer rabbit, you basically lock yourself out of continuing being able to continue the rest of the game, because you have to like catch this rabbit and get a battery out of it in order to power a laptop.
Yeah, but I don't think you need to do that until the end of the game, and at that point you can go back.
Oh, you can?
If you're playing on a computer where the game doesn't crash when you try.
That's okay.
Like, you're intended to be able to go back down to the surface, and you can go back into the sewer and get the laptop at that point, even.
I always just thought it was a point of no return, that you were just screwed out of getting that battery if you didn't go down the grate, or if you went down the grate before you caught the rabbit.
Yeah, I know a lot of people seem to think there are a lot more dead-end scenarios in games than there are, just because I guess they've never tried to actually go back.
Yeah. I mean, it's
There was a game,
yeah.
there was
Well,
an adventure game called Fable that I played for my channel a few years ago, where one of the reviews that I read in a magazine said there's a couple of fish that'll show up, and if you don't say exactly the right stuff, they won't give you the kelp, and if you don't get the kelp, then you can't beat the game, and you won't know it.
hmm
So I tried it, and it was really hard to find the right conversation options. But if you said the wrong thing and they left without giving it to you, you just wait around like 5 minutes, and they'll come back. And then it's a lot easier to figure it out the second time.
hmm I think
Just a lot of people don't seem to have patience.
yeah. I'm trying to remember if I've ever put myself into a dead game. The most I've ever done for a dead game, I actually like somehow put myself here. I think it was no, it's not technically a dead game because I lost my save file on that. That wasn't me. Like, I'm trying to remember. Resident Evil 0, I think, is also pretty bad with a very high potential to put yourself into a dead game because of how Resi 0 works, specifically in item management, because there is a point where it's the way the game works is how you control both what's her name Rebecca and Billy. The big problem with 0 is you can accidentally just screw yourself out of using up items and stuff because of how actiony the game is. There's it's more like just fighting things like Devastators and what are the enemies called? There was Devastators and these leech enemies. Basically, if you misuse your resources too much, there's no way you can be able to get past certain rooms with Devastators, thus leading to just a point of you're either going to be at low health the entire game, or you might as well just try and go back to a previous save file and rework your item usage, because it's weird. Resi 0 is just a weird game, and I'm not the biggest fan of it, but yeah, there is a very high potential to put yourself into a dead game if you just completely waste all of your items because you can't fight back against Devastators or leeches at that point.
Yeah, I want to say, weren't the Resident Evil games inspired a lot by Alone in the Dark?
Alone in the Dark, and it's something like Alone in the Dark. At least the original one.
Yeah, because I think that was kind of the prototype of, there are so many nonsensical things you have to do in nonsensical order in order to progress, and you won't know that you didn't do something right until near the end of the game.
Mm-hmm.
You can like beat the final boss, and you have no way to escape because you didn't remove the wedge that was blocking the exit at the beginning of the game.
That just sounds like a whole lot of BS. Because it's kind of like what can happen in the end of Resi 1, where you can potentially get. I believe there's just an ending where it's like the solo character, like your partner character and the opposite character can just die, and you just kind of end the game alone.
Like Maniac Mansion.
I've never played Maniac Mansion.
That was a good one.
Is it like a puzzle game, or is it a survival horror?
It's the game that spawned the engine that LucasArts used to make all their adventure games.
Oh, damn, that's cool.
Yeah. SCUMM stands for Simple Creation Utility for Maniac Mansion.
Huh. Oh.
Now we're talking. Now we're talking math.
Oh,
language.
What LucasArts adventure games?
Yeah, LucasArts adventure games and point and click games of that kind of type.
Oh my!
In fact, the one time that I've ever had a proper complete game death was for a game like that called the third Discworld Noir. And there was this, if you went to one place, early, can't get a vital crew at another,
Mm-hmm.
and that sucked. They sucked.
Actually,
But
Yeah,
that's
I
the
didn't
only
get very
time
far in
that
Noir.
game.
mm-hmm. Honestly, I think the only LucasArts point and clicks I've ever played are Day of the Tentacle and Day of the Tentacle and Grim Fandango. And I love Grim Fandango.
Yeah, those are very good ones.
Mm-hmm. It's like Grim Fandango isn't like one of my top 10s, but it's like a top 20. It's easily like, it's still up there. It's still it's a lot of fun to play. Plus, I just like Manny a lot as a character.
I love Day of the Tentacle. I should do that some.
I believe it has there's a PS4 version of it, isn't there?
Yes, there is. I have it.
Day of the Tentacle remastered.
Yeah, they did the remasters of those. No, when Escape from Monkey Island came out, I got the PS2 version of it. I think that's still the only one I've got.
Isn't Monkey Island 2 the game with that weird ass ending where they're just a pair of kids fighting at an amusement park?
Yes, it is.
Yep, that's the one.
Okay, that's all I know. I know that and just the name LeChuck, and that's about it.
Monkey Island 2, I think, was my favorite in the series, and that's probably not something that anybody else is gonna say.
Is it specifically because of is it specifically people don't like it because of the ending, or is it just they prefer Monkey Island 1?
Oh, I assume a lot of people don't really like the ending, but there are just also some specific puzzles in it that I expect most people probably wouldn't have liked as much as I did.
Hmm.
Like there's this guy who's always gambling at a Wheel of Fortune, and he
Oh my
always
god.
wins. So,
Yeah, I know that one.
yeah, when he leaves, you follow him, and he goes into this alley, and knocks on a door, and a guy gets him to give the password, and then tells him what the next winning number is going to be. It's like, he's a member of the Gamblers Guild, so he gets the privilege of knowing what the winning number is. So, of course, you have to figure out what the password is so you can get that information and win the prizes that you need. But the password is the guy holding up some number of fingers on his hand and going, like he'll hold up 5 fingers and say, if this is 2, and I'll hold up 1 finger. How much is this? And so, just from following the pattern, you have to figure out what the answer to those questions is going to be and get them right 3 times in a row.
Okay.
And it's a really simple pattern, and I love it.
I remember another time I soft locked, and it was in Monkey Island 2. It was the spitting contest.
The spitting contest?
I screwed up the spitting contest, and that soft locked me from finishing the game.
Oh.
How do you screw that up?
I kinda mixed the wrong drinks together, and they wouldn't let me move the bloody flag again.
You only have to move the flag 1 time, though.
Yeah, no, I don't understand how I managed that. To mess it up so bad that I couldn't continue. But it did happen.
It was Monkey Island 2 that had the goat puzzle, right?
The goat puzzle?
I don't know if it's that one, but there's a point and click game that has a really infamous goat puzzle.
That's Broken Sword.
Sword too.
Okay. Yeah. I thought it was Monkey Island for a sec, but yeah, I knew there was a very, very hard puzzle to get rid of a goat.
I want to say that was the first.
That hard.
At the very least, I think I had to use some hints to get past that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the only Broken Sword I've played is the first one.
Yeah. I only know of the reboot, like, Broken Sword Sleeping Dragon or something like that, because I have the disc of that. But I've never played it.
I think I've never played it either.
I think one of the reasons that I never played it because every time I tried to install it, it would ask me for the product key, and I don't have the product key for the game. Nor did I realize I could just go on the internet and just use someone else's product key. Because there was.
Where'd you get the game?
It was secondhand. I got it from my dad.
Oh, okay.
It was a lot of my old PC games I have are either I had since like I still have a whole bunch of like Jumpstart Advanced Kindergarten and Reader Rabbit discs. Those are fine, but I also have like Neverwinter Nights 2 and Broken Sword, which I basically dripped down to. I kind of were just given to me because I'm the only one who was interested in the games at that point. But the problem is there was a handful of games that I wasn't able to play because I didn't have the product key for them, nor did I realize I could go on other websites to figure it out. Or to like to use a different product key, because I don't believe the game, like I don't believe back then specifically, you could just have whatever product key was legit, and just install it with any legit product key. Yeah,
the days before they had to check in with a remote server to make sure that the serial number hadn't been used.
Mm-hmm. And that's actually how I was able to play Neverwinter Nights 2, but it never just clicked in my head to do that with Broken Sword.
God, I am so ancient. I remember the anti-piracy things the original Monkey Island had. It was like a wheel code wheel or something.
Leisure.
A lot of games had code wheels.
Yeah. Leisure Suit Larry did a questionnaire for the first game. Did a questionnaire that you had to fill out, full of weird trivia that only adults would know, because Leisure Suit Larry is an adults-only game, and so it'd be weird, it'd just be like a whole bunch of questions that only an adult would know, like about celebrities or about people. And just general knowledge of the 80s and 90s. And if you didn't get the questionnaire right, you get kicked
like
out.
60s and 50s.
That's true.
Because I remember my parents had that one, and I would occasionally stick the disc in and attempt to play it, but I didn't know any of that stuff. I had a friend come over who actually knew some stuff about 60s culture.
Mm-hmm.
And, the first time he tried it, it's like, how old are you? And he puts in 60. And it's asking him all these, 1940s questions. Like, I don't know this stuff.
Yeah.
So he tried it again, put in 30, and it's like, oh yeah, I know this. And then we got into the game and couldn't figure out how to do anything.
Yeah, because, the game doesn't explain to you anything. You kind of have to just realize, oh, hey, I'm a guy named Larry Laffer, and I'm here in not Las Vegas to lose my virginity.
And everything will kill you if you give it the chance.
Yeah.
That was our issue, was anywhere we went, we'd just die immediately. We were no stranger to Sierra games. We played a lot of the King's Quests, but couldn't figure out how to get anywhere in that one. And we even had the hint book, the old yellow highlighter one, where you fill in the square and it gives you the clues. Yeah,
that one's cool.
Go out into the street, you get run over by a car, talk to the wrong person, they'll shoot you.
You literally go into an alley and a guy will stab you.
Yep.
There's a window with a prostitute in it, and you can get an STD from her, and you can die from that STD.
Yep.
There's a lot of random things that can just kill you, and it's great.
Good old Sierra games.
Leisure Suit Larry, I think, is probably the most inconsistent in terms of quality between games, but Leisure Suit Larry 1 and 6 are probably my favorites. Oh, wait, 5 or 6. I think whichever one was the health spa. I think that was 6.
I think that was 6, because isn't there like an infamous joke where there's no such thing as a Leisure Suit Larry 5? Or is it Leisure Suit Larry 4 that's the missing one? Yeah.
That's 4. Yeah, then it would have been 6. Those games are great. But the only thing with Leisure Suit Larry as it went on, though, is like With 6, you basically can't die. There's like only maybe 3 or 4 scenarios in which like things will kill you, mostly just because the rest of the game is just all of these women torturing Larry, basically. Cause he's like, oh hey, I'm gonna go bungee jumping. I'm going bungee jumping with this girl who like only like who is super addicted to bungee jumping, and basically falls off before he can like share a bungee cord with the girl, and so he's just screaming loudly into the night while bungee jumping really high up. There's another one where he gets a colonic from a woman without only realizing at the very end that he's getting a colonic, and then it's just like he's just in a lot of pain.
You bought Steve's voice box.
Steve...
Oh god, I did. I totally forgot about that.
Wait, Steve has a voice box?
Yes.
No.
It's annoying as fuck.
Oh wait, why'd you get that?
Well, it's a reference to Steve the Slingshot from the first game.
Oh yeah. So you just give Steve a fucking voice box.
I completely forgot.
You spent the entire video pretty much ignoring the game. You played a couple of very nice rounds ago.
Yeah. He also now has a safari outfit.
We kind of got sucked into the SCUMM conversation street a wee bit.
Yeah.
Totally forgot about the game.
There is a grand unified theory of Sierra with a massive timeline that basically you can mark every game they've made by what King's Quest game it was contemporary with. So, you know, your Leisure Suit Larry 6, for example, is a contemporary of King's Quest 7, which is when they decided that death wasn't all that much fun, and they would just let you try again every time you died.
Yeah. Also, the game would also remind you to save too. Like, it's literally like an option called the Save-O-Matic, which would just tell you, "Hey, go and save real quick, buddy. You haven't saved in a little while."
Oh god, that voice box is annoying. Why did I buy it?
Oh, I'll have to.
Why didn't you turn it off?
I hope I figured out that I could turn it off, because that's going to get really annoying very quickly.
Oh, that reminds me of the Bane from Borderlands 2. A SMG a cursed SMG that makes you move that has high damage, but the major drawbacks are that you move at 50% movement speed. So basically, you move very, very slowly, and it screams whenever you fire it. And it's an SMG, so it's rapid fire. So you just hear rapid screamings. Just screams, and then it screams out at you that it's reloading when you reload, and all that. It's one of the worst. It's like the most awful gun in the game.
It sounds like pretty much everything that I did with Doom in high school.
Always change all the sound effects.
Yeah, just collect all the sound effects that I could find and apply them to every sound effect in the game and just make a big WAD file out of it.
Oh.
Oh, you know for a fact, if I had the ability to do that at the time, I probably would have done that too.
Mm-hmm. It's surprising how easy it is to modify, game, like changing certain movie files in games. Like BioShock 1, there's very few instances of them using specific movie files, but you can actually change certain cutscenes and stuff. It's again, it's only for like 2 specific times, because there's only really 2 FMV type things that happen in the first game. So you can only change those 2 cutscenes, but you can do whatever you want with those cutscenes. It's great. You want to make it look like that because there's a speedrunning event that they did that, and they changed it to the Windows 10 update screen right in the middle of a speedrun and freaked out the entire. Hal, did you just die?
Mm-hmm.
Oh no.
Yes, I did.
That's okay, you still got Monica and all of her monster transformations available.
But doesn't Hal
Yeah.
only have one of them?
I know what I'm looking for. Yes, I am. Thank you, resurrection powder.
Well, at least it's a good thing you had like 3 of those on standby, or else it would have been weird just you playing as Monica, because you mostly have played Max throughout this game.
I forget whether having one of them equipped will just immediately resurrect you when you die.
It does.
Love that that guard doesn't even do anything. He just let you slap him.
Well, they're living statues, but they're not fast.
And it begins.
The Georama.
Well, it's
Yeah.
really simple. You put the fountain on the big dirt patch, and then
Yep.
you put all the other stuff around the fountain.
Yep.
All right, time to start placing
And
stuff.
then you take pictures of everything, because it's almost all used for inventions.
Wow. You can only make one of those. Okay.
Yeah,
You
that's
can only
the.
make exactly the number that you need.
Okay.
Yep.
And you can't
Holy
put
crap.
stuff from other places here, and you can't put stuff from here in other places.
Come on, David. You put it on the dot. Why did you have to look at it?
Good question. How about a Dave from the past?
He's an idiot.
Yeah, so this is the menu I think that normally would show you what culture points you have. But here, there's no such thing as culture points, so it's just your pictures.
No, you fool.
Man, this is such a nice
Well,
fountain.
I think I should put this near the big red X.
Oh, it's all right. It's like almost there. Oh my god.
You see that? You see that exact moment was when I went, oh.
I love that there's just this big dirt patch to tell you, place it here.
And there we go. See, that's the first bit finished.
There we go. That's like 75% of the analysis right there. Just placing that fountain.
There has been a change in the future. Suddenly, Griffin has relaxed because he has a relaxation fountain.
He now just has a nice fountain in his courtyard.